The court has framed charges against the sacked CWG Organising Committee Chairman Suresh Kalmadi and others for allegedly cheating, conspiring and causing a loss to the tune of 90 crores to the exchequer in the games-related corruption case. Charges under various provision of the IPC and the Prevention of Corruption Act against Kalmadi and others. We have Meenakshi with us on the phone line. Meenakshi, what is the implication of this move?
Well, yes, this is a significant order of the Patiala House Court, which has just been pronounced moments back. This is the operative part of the order which we are bringing to you, in which today, interestingly, Kalmadi and all the other 9 accused were present in the courtroom. This officially marks the beginning of the trial process. Framing of the charges is the process which finally indicates that the trial process will begin. You rightly pointed out this particular case is pertaining to causing a loss of over 90 crores to the exchequer in a games-related corruption case. This matter had come up for consideration twice on 2 occasions earlier, and it was finally today that the special CBI judge had posted the matter for order on the framing of charges, which has been pronounced moments back, and this officially marks the beginning of the trial process in this particular case, and it could be very difficult days ahead for Suresh Kalmadi and all the other 9 accused. Back to you.
Right. In news just coming in, this is a big breaking news. Patiala House Court frames charges against the sacked CWG Organising Committee Chairman Suresh Kalmadi and the others. Meenakshi, what will be the next move in this case now?
Well, like I was saying, this formally marks the trial process now being started. What essentially happens now is, obviously, Kalmadi and all the other 9 accused have pleaded not guilty to the charges that have been framed against them, and therefore we will see a process of trial now begin. Essentially, what this means is now we will have the entire trial process play out, wherein Kalmadi and his counsels will try and impress upon the court as to why the charges are slapped against them are not really correct insofar as they are concerned, and they are really innocent of all the allegations that have been leveled against them. But on the other hand, the prosecution in this particular instance, the CBI, will press forward with its side of the argument, and ultimately that will lead to the conclusion of the court pronouncing a guilty or a non-guilty verdict. But this is a significant order of the Patiala House Court, because this was on the anvil for a fair bit of time. Like I was reiterating, on 2 earlier occasions the matter had come up for consideration and was adjourned, but it's only today that the court has really pronounced its orders. We are still awaiting the details of that order to bring to you the details of the sections that have been slapped on Kalmadi and the others. But for now, there are various provisions of the Indian Penal Code and the Prevention of Corruption Act that have been invoked against him, and really it could be Kalmadi and the others could find themselves on a sticky wicket as the matter progresses in court.
Right. In fact, remember the CBI questioned Mr. Kalmadi 3 times and raided his home and offices in Delhi and Pune to try and gather crucial evidence that he had functioned as a chairman of the company that had run the games. He was arrested after a 4-round of investigation. Now, Meenakshi, is this move a bit too late? And tell us, what could be the possible action that could be taken against Mr. Kalmadi and his aides?
Well, it was the prerogative of the court to really go ahead and pronounce the orders. So technically, I think the court was in the process of ascertaining all facts that were presented before it, because it had to arrive at a conclusion pertaining to the charges that were being framed against Kalmadi and the others. There are several sections of the Indian Penal Code, from cheating to conspiracy, that have been really invoked against Kalmadi. Alongside, there is also the charge of destruction of evidence, cheating, forgery relating to cheating, criminal intimidation, and a few other sections of the Prevention of Corruption Act. So essentially, court was perhaps really trying to ascertain all the facts that had been placed before it arrived at a conclusion pertaining to its orders on the framing of charges. So really, today formally marks the beginning of the trial process in this particular matter, and Kalmadi and his legal team will now have to sit back and put their heads together as to how to try and convince the court court about the bona fides of their case, and that could be really difficult. And going forward, really, we will bring to you more details of the arguments that they place in court in their attempts to try and convince the court of their innocence.
Right, reviewers just joining in. The CBI finally framing charges against Suresh Kalmadi and 9 others for allegedly cheating, conspiring and causing a loss of 90 crores to the exchequer in the Commonwealth Games. All accused appeared in the court today. Remember, he was the chairman of the Organising Committee for the Commonwealth Games held in December and October of 2010 and was sacked in April of 2011 after allegations of corruptions were made against him. Now, Meenakshi, for our viewers just joining in, obviously this case has been going on for over 2 years, but there has been no closure or any kind of an outcome in this particular case. So tell us, what can we expect now in the days ahead?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this may seem to be a protracted legal battle ahead, but it has been following a process of its own. You rightly pointed out the accused were charge sheeted by CBI for illegally awarding a contract to install timing, scoring and results, the TCR system for the 2010 Commonwealth Games, and that resulted in a loss of over 90 crores to the public exchequer. That is the prosecution's case. And of course, Kalmadi has spent a considerable amount of time behind bars, but insofar as the trial process is concerned, there is a certain established procedure which has to be adhered to, and in pursuance of that, this particular order formally marks the beginning of the trial process. And really, Kalmadi and others have pleaded not guilty before the court. Even as we speak, moments back, the court pronounced its orders on the framing of the charges. We are still awaiting the details of the charges that have been slapped, but what I can confirm to you is that harsh provisions of the ITC have been invoked, and also the Prevention of Corruption Act. Now, this particular act, remember, assumed great significance because if you recall, in recent times we have seen the 5 times Chief Minister of Haryana, Om Prakash Chautala, and his son being convicted recently in a scam by a trial court here in Delhi. So really, no mean provisions, the Prevention of Corruption Act. So definitely the legalities involved have ensured that the framing of orders happens today. But that being said, the charges that have been slapped against Kalmadi and the other accused are severe, and they will have a tough time trying to protect themselves in court. And the matter will now progress, and thereafter we can be looking at an outcome of a verdict of either a conviction or an acquittal.
All right, for our viewers just joining in, the big breaking news, the CBI finally framing charges against Suresh Kalmadi, 9 others for cheating, conspiring and causing a loss of 90 crore to the exchequer in the Commonwealth Games. Just trying to explain in layman terms, Meenakshi, to our viewers, what are the charges will be leveled under what section, what could be the maximum punishment that he could be tried for?
Yes, what I can tell you at this point in time is that there are charges against Section 120B, which is criminal conspiracy, which is being read with 201, which is again destruction of evidence. Section 420 of the Indian Penal Code, which involves cheating. Section 467, 468 and 471. These are all sections pertaining to forgery. And there is another section of 506, which is criminal intimidation, which has been invoked against Kalmadi and the others. Now, these are all, simultaneous sections that have been slapped against the accused, alongside provisions of the Prevention of Corruption Act have also been invoked. We are awaiting details of the order to look at the specific sections that have been invoked against Kalmadi and the others. But broadly, these are the charges that the prosecution is pressing for against Kalmadi and the others to seek a conviction in their case. And the accused have obviously pleaded not guilty, and thereafter we have seen the court go ahead and make an order on the framing of the charges under the sections that I was just mentioning to you a while back. So what essentially happens now is, let's bear in mind the fact that very recently we have seen a conviction order from a trial court in Delhi, wherein the 5 times Chief Minister of Haryana, who was booked under the same sections of Prevention of Corruption Act, had seen a conviction which had gone against him, and thereafter the same court had gone ahead ahead and pronounced him and has sentenced him to 10 years of imprisonment. So these are severe sections. There is punishment provision from 7 years onwards to 10 years, which is really which is quite a lot under any circumstances. And thereafter, how the matter progresses now is for the Kalmadi team to really try and present their case before the court, and how far the court will be convinced of their arguments basis all the evidences that have presented before it will be worthwhile to watch.
Now, Meenakshi, why has there been so much delay in some kind of finality in this case? He was arrested on 25th of April. He spent 9 months in Tihar jail. He was released after that. Why has there been so much of a delay in this case?
Well, this is the process which really sometimes takes time, because remember, this particular case has not been fast-tracked on a day-to-day hearing basis. Like sometimes it happens. For instance, the Delhi gang rape case is the latest case which one can give an example of as to how the matter will now progress at a very steady pace in that particular case, because the matter has been fast-tracked to a day-to-day basis. In this particular instance, there has been a great application of mind on the court's part, but let's also bear in mind the fact that the accused have been several. There are several matters of likewise nature which are pending against Kalmadi and the others. So the court really essentially has to take time to process all that has been presented in front of it for its consideration. And be that as it may, on 2 occasions this particular matter got adjourned at this specific stage of framing of order on charges. But today the court, obviously after all the consideration of all the evidences that has been placed before it, has arrived at its conclusion and has gone ahead and ordered and has passed orders on the framing of charges. And the sections that I was talking to you about a little while earlier, ranging from criminal conspiracy to forgery to criminal intimidation, alongside all the provisions of the Prevention of Corruption Act, have been invoked against Kalmadi. These are harsh charges, and thereafter the trial process will begin. So obviously the court, which was the prerogative of the special CBI court, really wanted to arrive at a conclusion only after all due consideration.